Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. In this video we have the final Supreme Arena defenses for this season, because our season is actually going to be ending in only around like 2 or 3 days from right now. We're not even going to have a full week of this. You guys have hopefully already made it to however many points you needed, Supreme points, in order to get the different frames, because there's just a couple of days left. But either way, I have some interesting team comps that I've put together for this week, and as I did in the previous video, I will share a code on screen so you can just copy or enter in that code in order to import the formation onto your lineup. Okay, so team number one. Now this was a team I was running last week, basically Maulers with Scarlita, and for me, I think this is still one of my best team options. This map isn't ideal for the Freyasto comp because you can't have them on the same row. However, the maps are kind of limited in that regard this week of Supreme Arena. So I think this can be pretty good. Basically, the idea is Coco and Shakira should not be dying by the time Scarlita comes down. Same with Freyasto. So even if Mikola dies, I don't really care about it, and we're gonna have enough surviving allies for Scarlita to deal her true damage when she comes down. Now, of course, the issue with this team is we're lacking sort of kill threat. It is mainly only Shakira and Scarlita who have the damage in order to kill opponents, and if they're really tanky, or if they're just able to kill maybe my Freyasto and my Mikola, my Scarlita won't be dealing her true damage anymore, and this team can loses its effectiveness. I think another great option you can try is, rather than Scarlita, you could go for Taylene. I think that would be a good option. You could even go for Vala, and then in which case I would put Vala and Shakira on the buff tiles and Coco off to the side like where Scarlita is right now. Or you can even go with Lenya. Lenya and Shakira both on the buff tiles also does really well. So these are basically the team comps you want to put together depending on which heroes are the most built on your account. But because I have my Paragon 2 Scarlita, for better or for worse, I should be running her in one of my defenses, because yeah, I basically have her over upgraded. But if you didn't, then I would definitely think there would be another better option here rather than her. Okay, and Mikola, to control the on arena, I like to run Freyasto on the on arena control teams, because you already have like an extra hero, sometimes compared to the opponent, and who is in melee range, who will probably allow you to control the on arena. And if Coco and Shakira get teleported into around the on arena range, then they will also help us control that. Verdant Spell is really good for a comp like this. It gives the Freyasto more damage reduction, gives your supports haste, and it gives your Shakira penetration for more damage output, and life drain for Scarlita. So this team worked out basically well for me last week, and that is why I'm going to run it again. I still think it's one of my weaker teams of the 3 that I'm running this week. I think this is probably maybe my weakest one. You could definitely also go for like a Hypogean Celestial type comp, Freyasto, Scarlita, Taylene, or Freyasto, Harak, Taylene type comp with Damien, and then for example Lily May. However, I'm running Lily May on a different team, and I found that basically for me the Hypogean Celestial teams are kind of lackluster if I don't also have Lily May in it with them to have even more kill threat and interruption. If you don't have Freyasto, you could go for a tank like Thorin. Like my Thorin is still not being used in any team. That can be a good option. But if you look through the list of basically the heroes, it's basically Taylene, Lenya, like we mentioned, or Thorin, maybe Damien. Those are kind of the heroes you could try to incorporate in, or Vala, you could incorporate into this. If you're really desperate, you can go for an Iron nuke team, and this map would be not a bad choice for that, because you can have completely hidden tiles, right? There are 5 hidden, or wait, there's actually, no, there are 4 hidden tiles, but that can sometimes be enough that the opponent might not know what you're doing, and you can surprise them with the Iron nuke, because Iron nuke is really only effective if the opponent doesn't bring Maulers. If they bring Maulers, they have a big advantage, although it still can sometimes just nuke through the opponent. But don't worry, in the upcoming season, Iron nuke will be more powerful, because the wilder tiles are really going to be the kind of chase faction tile you'll want on your team. Okay, for team number 2, I have something very interesting planned. So it's going to be a Tassi on Mauler buff tile with Resonating Spell, because Tassi alone will be enough kill threat to stall the opponent. Also, because this is going to take advantage of the energy tile that we have a very unique setup of basically maps in the final week, and it's unfortunate because we only have a few days of this. You have an energy tile on the rearmost, and on the other one in the back row you have an attack speed tile. So don't get confused. This back one over here is not going to be another energy tile, for example, where Bonnie is. But anyway, so Tasi, with the immediate ultimate cast, she's one of the best heroes to be using it. You could maybe also try a team with Taylene on Hypergene Celestial faction tiles or something like that. But I think Tasi will be great. With the Resonating Spell, she has solo potential. Also, what we've planned here, we're going to have Citrana. Yeah, buffing up, like, basically Ignite Passions. We've seen the Citrana Bonnie combo, how devastating it can be. I've given her the sorcery charms as well. Oh, I need to talk about the charms, because now, because Ravage Drum is complete, I can go all out on PvP charms, so I have given, like, good charms to all of the heroes here, so I will talk about that as well. But basically the idea is we want Citrana to provide the Ignite Passions spark buff onto her nearby allies. I think it should still hopefully go off onto the Tasi, even though she's going to instantly cast ultimate, because basically Citrana, she doesn't immediately provide sparks. It, like, there's a bit of a cast time before he goes onto your allies, and it will be within allies within 2 tiles away from her starting position. And so I hope it will go on to Tasi. It's really important that Citrana provides his buff to Tasi, because Tasi is going to jump into the enemy team and begin applying basically the spark debuff onto the enemies. Then you have Lumont. Lumont has some crowd control. He's a tank, but you don't need to run him. Like, you could even run Kruger as a tank here. Basically, any tank mauler would be fine. Don't run Lumont unless you have him to, like, in my opinion, Mythic Plus or above. And I've given him the Insight Charms. This is going to increase the duration of his stun with his War Stomp up to 2.25 seconds, which is really strong. Also, it gives him more HP, the Insight Charms. On Tundra, I've also given the Insight Charms. It gives her more HP, and it also increases the amount of her shield value. Like, look at this here. It increases shield value not by 25% but by 50% with the 5 skill power. So she is going to, like, help protect your allies really well. And then we have Bonnie on the attack speed tile. She's going to be able to give advantage of that because she's like a marksman, and also it will be applying debuffs onto the enemy to allow Tasi to have a better job of soloing them. So I'm excited about this team. I think it's a great team. Maybe the Maulers could be a better option. Maybe just going for, I don't know, maybe going for triple tank rather than the Citrana, like going for Kruger as well. This might be better. I don't know, but we're going to try Citrana and see how it does, because it does have crazy combo basically to stack the debuffs onto the opponent. But in order for it to work, I need to make sure that this spark buff is going to go off onto my Tasi, because otherwise we're going to lose out a lot of value. So I'll have to watch like replays of that. And then we have team number 3. So team number 3 is going to be the team we have tried many times before. And because we're running Resonating Spell on Tasi, we don't have it available for Odie. But from previous testing, Valor Shield Spell also does really well on Odie, giving him the haste buff and the tankiness from the shield. We have the Rainier to give him the attack buff from Charms and the position swap. Basically, Odie is going to be hitting really, really hard. We also have Lily May on the attack speed tile, which is nice, and she's going to be the other recipient of the shield from the Valor Shield, which will make her tankier at the beginning of the fight. And then we have Brutus, who has the buff from Smokey, and he's going to be tanking for my team. So this is a really good team. We've seen it work well, like a lot. The only thing you want to maybe consider is, because we have the energy tiles on map 2, maybe running Lily May on that team would be better. However, I couldn't put together a good team. Like, I then would not be able to run Bonnie in that team. I would have to run Bonnie in a different team, and I really wanted to try Bonnie in that team. So that is kind of why I'm running Lily May on my team number 3. But we know this team does well. I've tested it a lot in the past. You can also decide maybe you want your Brutus up rather than in the back, because then he can begin tanking aggro a little bit earlier. But I think giving him this buff from Smokey is more value for your team. Okay, so overall this is a strong team. In terms of the charms, we have the Insight Charms onto Brutus. This is going to increase the duration of his immunity. If you take a look here, Brutus is immune to the first failed blow he receives. He is then immune to all damage and becomes unaffected for 5 plus up to 10 seconds basically with the 5 skill power. And the Insight is also giving him HP %, so he'll be tankier. So Brutus is going to become even more deadly for the opponent to deal with. We have the Gale Charms onto Odie, which are the best for PvP. We just have the Sorcery Charms onto Lily May because we've been using them forever, and then Rainier with the Mystic Charms. So I think this will be a really good team. If you wanted to go for Frontline Spell, it isn't a bad option to run Frontline in a Lily May team, because you're guaranteed at least Lily May to enter the enemy side. But the problem is, we've talked about this before, even though we have the Mauler buff tiles, if the opponent has Mauler buff tiles, they will teleport into my team first, and then I'll teleport on top of them, and I'm not guaranteed to even enter the enemy territory. So for example, this is not a good team to run Frontline Spell on, because you might not even get the value of it with your Odie. However, yeah, so that is going to be basically it for my overview, basically the final Supreme Arena defenses of this season. Hopefully you guys will be able to put together these teams. I think the first team is definitely, there are a lot of replacement options like we mentioned, and you can definitely go and try them out. And team number 2, you can go for Kruger rather than Satrana. I honestly don't know how this is going to work, because I have seen Satrana doesn't, like, Ignite Passions, I don't know if there's an initial cooldown or it's just the fact that there is some cast time to the skill at the beginning of the match, but I feel like if Tassi immediately jumps away, then maybe Satrana is not going to be able to buffer. But I think Satrana, like Tassi's cast of ultimate, she usually stays in her position while she's casting her ultimate, at least for a few seconds, and that should be enough for Satrana to apply the spark buff onto her. But anyway, guys, you can share your opinions about these teams in the comment section, or if there's any other team formations you want to recommend, you can feel free to do that. If you have any more questions or you want to share like actual pictures of team comps, you can join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video and all of my videos and on my channel page. And I also respond to questions very frequently there, so if you have anything you want to ask me specifically, then you can feel free to join and talk to me there. But thanks for watching, guys. That is going to be it for this video. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.